If you know better, you do better. This quote really resonates with me because that just sums up healthcare, right? My kids, people who have recently had kids, their kids are getting extremely different pediatric care than we got growing up. And the same should be true for us moms. My mom, my grandma, they didn't have postpartum care. They didn't have postpartum recovery care. There wasn't a standard of what should be. And so therefore their lives have been greatly affected. The women in their 50s, 60s, 70s have a lot of joint replacements. There's a lot of bladder surgeries happening. A lot of people suffer with sciatica or different aches and pains. And that's all like standard and par for the course about getting old. The reality is it doesn't have to be, right? We know better now. So we know that everybody needs postpartum recovery after they have babies. People need to heal their bodies, right? So that's what I wanted to show you guys today. We don't have to be the same generation that our parents were, that our grandmothers were. So many of our grandparents live in nursing homes, wearing diapers, depends, sitting in wheelchairs, and they didn't have the type of care that we have now about restoring your body after babies. That just wasn't a thing. Check out my book, Restore Your Body After Kids, The Secret to Avoid Peeing Your Pants and Achy Joints as You Age. And I go through a deep dive of exactly how to heal your body after kids and what care should absolutely look like. Even if you think that you're totally fine and your body just bounced back and you recovered so well. The reality is there are changes in the skeleton, in the muscles that need to be healed. And so that book really dives into that. And today I want to talk about 3 specific things that you can do in order to help heal your body so we aren't the same generation as our parents, leaking and peeing themselves and having to replace our hips and our knees, okay? Please like and subscribe to this video so you can get more updates about more content I put out there. I constantly am talking about how to heal your body after babies. We're talking about prenatal care. We're talking about fertility and really how to age as gracefully, as humanly possible as a woman. And we have so much information to make that possible. The very first thing that we know now that we didn't know 30, 40 years ago is that you have to heal your pelvic floor, which is an essential part of your core after you have babies. If we don't heal our pelvic floor, our core is never going to work for us. And if our core doesn't work for us, we're going to establish compensations in our body. We're going to have hip pain. We're going to have low back pain. And it's all based on the fact that we just didn't get our core back after we had babies. And even if you replace that joint, you are fixing what wore out, the compensation that wore out, but you're not fixing the root cause of what's happening. So what's the number one thing to do in order to keep aging gracefully? It's connect to your core. Figure out how to use your pelvic floor and how to use your lower abdominals and every aspect of your core. The core is made up of the pelvic floor, which is the bottom, the top, which is the diaphragm, responsible for breathing, the abdominal wall and the transverse abdominis, and then also your glute and your back muscles. And your lat muscles. This creates the core. And so if you are strong in those muscles and they're balanced, then you're going to have a really strong and balanced core, and you're not going to wear your joints out as fast and or at all, right? Like we weren't meant to wear our joints out. And so we want to talk about connecting to your core. And that's the number one thing that you can do really to help yourself age as gracefully as humanly possible. The next thing that you can do to make sure that we aren't the same generation that our mothers and grandmothers were is when you start to experience knee pain, hip pain, low back pain, get to the root cause of what's causing that. So even actually if you start to get foot pain, you don't want to just go to a foot doctor or maybe for the acute pain, you go to a foot doctor, but you want to find out what is causing my foot pain. I recently actually just developed a tendonitis in my foot. And yeah, I could go to the foot doctor and get a cortisone injection. But the reality is the reason that's happening in my foot is because of the way I'm walking, I haven't fully got my hip extension back from having my 3rd child. And so because I'm training harder now, I'm doing a compensation that's creating this pain in my foot. Well, if I end up having to get surgery in the foot, again, that's not going to change the actual root cause of what is causing that pain in the foot. We have to address what's happening in the hip, the main reason that is causing the foot pain. And so if I don't address my hip, then it's just going to be this perpetual thing of what's causing the foot pain. And so I think that's so important and key. When you start to experience pain in your body, really truly find out where it's coming from. As pelvic expert physical therapists, we really look at the entire body to establish, okay, what's driving this pain? What is creating this pain? Oh, you have shoulder pain and it keeps coming back for you, and you've been to physical therapy, acupuncture, and chiropractic, but no one's actually addressed your C-section scar. Well, most likely it's because that C-section scar and the way that your core and fascia are moving and pulling on that shoulder is you're never going to get your normal arthrokinematics or how your shoulder moves back until you address that actual scar that is causing this limitation from pulling on that shoulder. So that's why it's just so important. Anytime that you have an ache or pain in your body, get it addressed. Find a pelvic expert in your area that can truly help you address that issue. Deep dive our YouTube channel. Go through every single video that you can start to self-diagnose and really find out what is driving your pain or what is creating the pain. Because if you can get to the true root cause, you can live this healthy, vibrant life full of vitality and movement and health. And that is going to be so much different than those generations above us that are living in the depends in the wheelchair. The third thing you can do is lift weights. We need to be lifting weights. I don't care if you run marathons, if you swim laps every day, if you go on walks every day. The reality is the skeleton needs weights. Our muscles need weight to actually grow. And in order to get our muscles to grow and change, we need to lift weights. And in order to keep our bones strong, so we're not breaking and falling and fracturing our hips like our elderlies and the generations above us, is we have to lift weights. So lifting weights 3, 4, 5 days a week is amazing to help protect your vitality and protect your bone health and to protect your muscle density. And when you're growing your muscles, you have to feed your muscles for them to grow. That means they need carbohydrates, they need protein, and muscles need fat. And so we need all of these micronutrients to create muscle development. I know there's a lot of low carb diets on the market, and the low carb diets don't afford enough carbs to actually cause muscle hypertrophy, right? So when we're working out and building our muscles, we want that muscle to grow, those actual muscle fibers to grow in strength and in size, hopefully. And we need carbs and proteins to be able to do that. So super, super important. And fat is really good for the nerve connection to the muscle. So we want the fat to do that as well. So make sure that you are eating to support that muscle development and muscle growth. The most underutilized thing that you can do naturally to support your health, I believe, is to lift weights. Lifting weights is just so essential at maintaining bone health as you age. Once you start to go through menopause and you lose your estrogen and your progesterone levels change, then it's hard to build muscle. And then our bones start to get weaker because we're not loading them. How to prevent that is lift weights. Simple as pie. And yes, is bar 3 amazing? Is Pilates amazing? Yes, but you need actual physical weight resistance about 3 days a week in order to truly train your muscles and protect your bones. A healthy, happy byproduct of that is that increases your metabolism. So any excess calories or micronutrients that you're eating means that your body can burn that more easily when you start to develop and grow your muscles. More muscles equals more metabolism. So this is just some nice tips in order to help live differently than our elders. So I hope you enjoyed that. Again, I want you to connect to your core, find the root cause of whatever is driving your dysfunction, and start lifting some weights. These are just 3 easy, simple health hacks that are going to keep us aging very drastically different and improving healthcare in the years to come. So we don't have to rely on all these interventions that actually just cause more and more spirals and issues. Please like and subscribe, share this video to your friends. I drop content twice a week, and I greatly appreciate your support and following here. Drop questions in the chat. I would love to know if you lift weights. Please let me know if you lift weights. And if not, let me know if you want information on lifting weights. All right. I'm Dr. Allison Felt. Take care and have a healthy and happy new year. And I want you to have the best vitality in your female expansion and growth through this aging process. Take care.